Welcome to Minnesota. Podcast, we talk about us arriving here, our trip, what we're going to be doing in the next week or so. And we asked,
crack him if you got him, son!
Let's go. How about them Cowboys?
Crack him if you got him. Yeah! Woo! Let's go, baby! Please hit him. Somebody punch him, please.
Hey, you want one of these? Coors?
Dude, you got a yellow belly. You knew exactly what
I know, you were looking me up and down. I knew what you wanted. You want a banquet?
Yes.
Crack him if you got him.
Jerry! Pick us up, Jerry! We're not worthy!
Cowboys can fan.
Cowboys can.
Like Canadian fan, can fan.
Oh.
Cowboys can fan.
Love Canada.
Yeah.
I'll look you up.
Awesome, thanks brother. Take care, man. And look, that's how you get subscribers. And nowadays age, it's a dog eat dog world. It's a dog eat dog world. We gotta go on the street to get subscribers now.
I'll be like, there'll be a guy at the grocery store and I'll hear him say something about Facebook. I'm like, oh, you do Facebook? You ever heard of CanFan? At Cowboys CanFan. Have you ever checked us out at Cowboys CanFan on any major platform? Because we're on all of them.
Dude, go to tiktok.com/@CowboysCanFan.
We have a channel, yeah.
What's your channel?
Cowboys CanFan.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm
Cowboys
from Puerto Rico.
CanFan. We're from Canada, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's CanFan on his shirt there.
I'm gonna watch that when I go on.
Yeah, do it. You guys will be on our YouTube.
Can I come all the way from Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico? Hell yeah.
See, that's
Son of a bitch.
Let's go. We're gonna be cracking them if we got them, baby. Let's go. Not often are you gonna have the Vegas Strip shut down like this, so we're gonna take advantage of it. And we're gonna shotgun one for you, son. Crack them if you got them, son. Woo!
Walking crack?
Crack them if you got them, son.
You got Raleigh, come on.
I've never met a real Eagles fan in real life. I'm from Canada. This is my first time out of my country. Well, hey, I don't say this often, but go fuck yourself.
Only an Eagles fan would have to promote a Giants or a different club's signage to try to get friends.
Crack him if you got him, son.
Crack him if you got him.
Hey, he hasn't heard though. Do you know who's winning the Super Bowl next year? The Cowboys.
The fucking Cowboys.
Got him!
9 a.m. out in Thailand, and Zion Johnson just got picked by the Chargers, which kind of sucks because I was really hoping that the Cowboys would.
TJ Watt, that taking Taco Charlton over TJ Watt is probably one of the worst. What are you doing over there?
I'm stretching my neck, bro.
I love it because it is literally.
I actually thought you were falling asleep, man.
Hey, Paul, it is 2:30 here. It's 2:30 p.m.
Yeah.
2:30 p.m. No,
We've been drinking since 9 o'clock this morning. It is currently 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's a long haul.
And
I kind of low-key hate the 10 a.m. games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
for sure, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're getting turned up on a Turpentine 10 a.m. game, guess what? You're getting drunk. Yeah. Hot dogs.
Cute guys, real cute.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Crack them if you got them.
Yeah! Cowboys! I'll scream enough for all of us, don't worry.
Crack 'em if you got it.
Oh! First thing I gotta do when I get in is eat something. Crack 'em, you got 'em, baby.
sprayed the fuck out of him with that. Oh, there was nothing left.
Oh, you fuck. Oh, he got him. This is a private moment for us, but hey, we did it.
Worth it.
We made it.
Fucking,
it was a fucking
Yeah, blast so far.
every day.
Hey, talk to me at the end of the game. If we get our fucking asses spanked like last week, I will cry in public. No, I have faith. We're not fucking losing
At
today.
least we had one side of the ball playing.
Crack them if you got them.
Crack him if you got him.
Can I talk on it?
Hey, I've seen this face before. Last night outside Target.
Crack him if you got him. In fairness, we had eaten 3 briskets and 1 fucking rib. If there's one thing that our military families have taught us, it's no man is left behind. How about them Cowboys?
Go, baby. Let's fucking go. Who do we got? Tyler Smith.
I was just trying to help you out and not. Oh, okay, fuck it.
Fuck you, dickhead.
It's never nice. It's never nice. Let him pass it to Nat.
It's so,
You need to acknowledge that.
that shit is so gross.
It's so bad it stains the bottom of
Let's go, bro.
Oh man, that is fucking nasty.
Wow.
Age, you're gonna make me puke. Just watching him do that almost made me puke.
Well, I was close to 18. On the wrong thing, though.
Hey, you guys want to give me some
Off the grid. So
It's like
just
a.
do you-
It's like
do
a.
you.
I say our podcast is like a good Quentin Tarantino movie. You don't know where we're going, but by the end of the cast, you're like very satisfied with what just happened.
First time I've ever heard him say that, but I
said
agree.
it. I said it. Well, I at least said it once. Before.
First time I've ever listened to you.
See, this is what I love about you guys. You just go with the flow. This is what I love about it.
What I want to
That's
ask
because we
you.
drink the whole time and we just get so.
Welcome to the Cowboys Can Fan Podcast. It's been a little bit since the NFL draft, but and we had to take Sunday service off. We were not holy enough. Here we go, Ant.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
Crack 'em if you got 'em,
Let's
son.
go, baby.
Sip it if you whip it.
Oh yeah, because you guys
Ooh.
don't have anything up in the studio.
Well, we're drinking some gin and juice, you know.
Gin and juice, I like it. What are you guys drinking?
Gin and
Is
juice.
it actually gin and juice?
Oh,
Whoops.
it's gin and bubbly.
Oh, what
And
happened? We lost him.
we
No,
lost-
I fucked up.
Oh, there he is.
Just some behind baseball real quick. On my Zoom, I'm not seeing you guys. So I was trying to fuck around. Oh, there they are. Hey-oh. Yeah. We're live.
Well,
Hey, I gotta ask-
we were live. Nobody else knew that you couldn't see us. It's just because I was controlling what I want you to see.
Well, I got to ask you guys something. How are you feeling after our 16 hours of draft coverage?
Was that what it was? 16 hours?
16 out. Well, if you include the Wednesday night main event, closer to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely. So that right after our draft on Saturday, I drove like an hour and a half
to then sit in some even more uncomfortable chairs for 4 hours to watch some independent wrestling. So, and then Sunday morning for 3 hours, I did a bunch of like bark mulch stuff outside. So I like by Sunday afternoon, I felt like I played 2 football games. Like I just from sitting, that's how bad sitting was. Like my shoulders, like this shoulder right here, because I have my hand locked and loaded on the switcher the whole time. I had like this ball, just tensed up ball in my shoulders that have just killed. Like the whole night when I was sitting watching the wrestling, I was like this. Like I had some sort of disease on my back, but I was just trying to push out this like this knot. So yeah, no, outside of the physical damage from just sitting for so long, I felt good.
I felt exhausted for some, well, probably all the drinking. But
and smoking, token, straight West Coastin'.
That's regular. Yeah, but the combination. But yeah, I was like so tired I couldn't even find I couldn't like get to sleep.
Yeah.
Like I just was like
just laid there, just kind of in a coma. Well, I found it weird because Saturday night I got home and like obviously I left Saturday day 3. We were popping them. We popped them or cracked them pretty early. So I got home and like midday I was hungover. Like I got a hangover at like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And just felt like garbage. And I had never been so happy to not have the Sunday service. I was happy that we stepped back and it gave us what, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday to kind of feel and talk.
We were very high up on Dwayne McBride. There's also another cat there. What was his name? Eric Gray.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that was his name. But regardless, two. So my theory was this: if you wanted to get a serious running back, you should have gone with one of those 2 guys.
Well, and this is the other issue is that we should have drafted a running back way before the sixth round.
Yeah. That's my biggest thing. So like obviously,
which you'd have to replace your 4th or 5th round pick then.
Yeah.
I honestly, to get Kendry Miller or Zach Charbonnet, like, would you have not taken Zach Charbonnet? I guess he was gone technically before we had a chance to.
Yeah. Okay. So we should be good, which is what I said last time. But
it looks like it.
Yeah, okay, we're back. Hey.
We back.
Okay, so you got about 20 seconds before we start to get frozen again, Anth.
I was just going to do it. I was just going to hit the intro as a joke again.
Or this?
This phrase?
Yeah.
Okay,
let's talk this Deuce Vaughn conversation.
Well, this is the funniest part. Like, there's so much conversation going on about our 6th round running back, where any other draft, you're not talking about the 6th round pick. I actually went through the last 6th round picks, the Cowboys' 6th round picks in the last 10 years, and they've hit on a few. They had Anthony Brown, they got Donovan Wilson. They've definitely found some gems, but the Cowboys haven't been super successful with the running back position after the 3rd round. So it scares me a little bit. And it doesn't really scare me because it's not a very invested pick, right? Like realistically, we had 2 6th round picks.
Yeah.
Is it a big deal if a 6th round pick doesn't make the team? Not really.
No.
The issue with it is what we were saying while we were frozen is there was a guy that we had talked about quite a bit who we even had maybe a 3rd or 4th round grade on in Dwayne McBride, who was still on the board when we took Deuce. We don't have anything against Deuce Vaughn as a person, as a player. He's already succeeded way more in life than any guy his size could ever hope for, right? He's a great player. He was a very, very good college football player. That doesn't equate to much in the NFL. I wanted to get a big body guy to pair with Tony Pollard.
Yeah. Yep. If we just got the slower, smaller version of Tony Pollard, it's like, come on, that's not what we were looking for. The other person we also for a 6th round pick, what I would be looking for, because there's a chance that, even if Deuce was 5'10", there's a chance he still might not make the team because he's drafted in the 10th or the 6th round, sorry. Right? Like they just don't have a very high likelihood.
6% chance of starting if you're a running back taken in the 6th round.
Yeah. Yeah, things aren't good. So I would have rather they have drafted Andrew Voorhees, the guard, who was injured, who dropped down to the 6th, who played six years in college, so he's an old dude, but still, Zach Martin's going to be hanging the cleats up at some point, right? Let's draft for the future in the 6th. That makes more sense rather than taking a flyer on a running back who, in my opinion, it's like a wild shot that he'll make it even till week 1 of the preseason. So no hate. Hope he does well. But I think we just missed on that pick, and the fact that there was so much praise about that. It's funny because I understand the hate on the tight end drafted at number 2. I happen to love that pick, Luke Schoonmaker. Got to make sure I get that right. But it's just so funny that like there's so much hate for that and so much love for this 6th rounder. But it's the weight of the pick. I get it.
It's the story,
Story
it's the story.
too, sure.
It's
a feel-good pick.
It's a feel-good pick. You have Chris Vaughn, his father, who's been a scout or the head of the scouting department for the Dallas Cowboys for X amount of years. It's the undersized guy. It's the Rudy story. It's the underdog story. Yeah, it's awesome. We're all cheering for him, and I've already said this. I've been battling for AJ's clip, basically.
Yeah, I know.
So I've been battling, but the reason I've been battling is because I just don't understand the thought process of a lot of people thinking that it's like this surefire pick.
I know.
When all they can really, the only person that they can really even compare him to is Darren Sproles. And Darren Sproles, great career, but it was a long shot even for him to be successful in the NFL.
So the biggest thing that if you look at it, so everyone's like, it's a 6-bit, it's a 6-bit. I think I agree with AJ. It's just,
hey Jay,
where we picked him up. Now, obviously, we all know BW1. BWB1 is a sucker for those hype videos. He's a sucker for that story. So I like the
story's great.
I like the story. I
would pay $9.99 to go watch it in the cinema.
Well, you're not going to have to because you're going to see it all season long. The biggest thing that we have to look at in this situation is, regardless if we don't think he's a day 1 starter, there's no way that they're going to go through this, get this up, the amount of coverage that every outlet's been giving this pick, and then not have him at least run some reps, not just in preseason, definitely in season. So if anything, we'll probably see some if he's not the guy, if he doesn't have the superpower, then we'll probably see that like week 2 or 3.
I gotta disagree. Like the only way he even makes a chance into the actual season is he has to have a fucking surefire. He has to have an absolute banging preseason. Like he's got to get in preseason because there's going to be like preseason week 2 or 3, whenever it is now that they've taken a game away, when they're playing their actual starters. If you think he has a chance in the NFL, you need to put him in there and you need to run him a bunch. But even if he makes the game day roster, I don't think he's going to be getting snaps at running back.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with them. I mean, obviously, and possibly, I know we talked about this a little bit. Could he be the Cavante Turpin replacement? Like Turpin time. Everyone's like, he went all pro last season.
Turpin's faster than him though.
Turpin's faster. Turpin showed up in preseason, but we didn't see him do the kick return that he did or the punt return. He did some crucial yardage, but I don't know. I just, with the amount of coverage and marketing wise, I can't see them not doing it, not having him in rotation.
It's about winning those games though. I think we can all agree with this. This is the last we're gonna kind of. Until preseason, I feel like this is the last we're going to really talk about him because I get it's a great hype story, but as far as 6th-round picks, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's a 6th-round pick in the NFL. It's hard enough for a 6th-round player to make a team.
Obviously, the one thing I do want to say, the fact AJ's article was great. I love the truth facts that he was laying in his article that he just released will probably get overshadowed because of his lunatics. Like I know he's not even talking to me about it, and it was already making me like wanting to like respond back.
Because if you're thinking like that,
that's
maybe it's you're getting angry because you can't justify your opinion anymore because I'm destroying it.
Exactly.
But the only thing you're left to do is act like an unhinged lunatic and start comparing him to someone else who has.
Hey, he's Darren Sproles. Hey, he's Darren Sproles.
I know. The other thing I was going to say is that, like, okay, without taking anything away from the guy, he made it that far in his career with.
We're having fun.
Oh yeah,
we're poking the bear. The reality is, I said at the bottom of the article too, if he shows up on the Cowboys week 1, I will buy his jersey and wear it proudly. Because
Same, 100%.
I would happily, just for us to say it a 7th time, I would happily him be what everyone says he's going to be, and for me to be wrong, I would. If I was wagered, you can either be right or wrong in this, I'd say, please make me look like a fool.
Yeah.
Because that's going to help the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm a Jerry's boy.
You're a Jerry's boy. Well, if you're a Jerry's boy, then you have to respect the decision that Jerry made in the draft war room that day.
Everything about it is fine. The two things are the guy who was there that we should have got. They're just the guys who were there that we should have got at the time. I don't like the feel-good picks. But the rest of the draft...
Well, that's what I was going to say. One last thing. I like when someone goes, well, who would you have taken instead? I'm like, Dwayne McBride, without a doubt. That's who I wanted. That's why that's why this has a little bit more weight for us, because we did have someone that we wanted to pick at that point. But you're right. Going on to the rest of the draft, I feel like we kind of...
Sorry, Anth, one last comment here. The Kahuna says, can't wait to see the Danucci and Deuce jersey combo week 2. Because I'm going to get my Danucci Sea... I'll get a Danucci Sea Dragons.
I think what we got to...
Because I don't think I can get a Danucci
well, what we're going to do
Cowboys jersey anymore.
For our order is we got to kind of just pace the delivery date and maybe order like 2 weeks before the first week, just so we know, so all the numbers get settled.
Right, so that there's not training camp numbers switched and you buy a jersey and it's not even the right guy's number when you end up getting it.
Yeah,
I agree with that. So what I was going to say was with the Mozzie Smith pick, we've kind of, I feel like, obviously we can touch on it. This is a draft recap show. Anyone that wasn't watching day 1 with us, we weren't too excited about the pick at the time. And I think, again, it was because there was guys on the board that we had talked so much about that I was like, if either of these guys are on the board, the Cowboys are going to have a super tough decision to make. The guys I'm talking about, Nolan Smith and Joey Porter Jr., I thought if either of those guys were on the board, they were surefire picks at 26. So for them to both be on the board and then us go to a position of need with Mozzie Smith, it was again, we were drunk by the time the pick happened. We were emotional. We were fully charged. So when the pick initially happened, we were kind of shocked and not happy. But the more we read about it the following days, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. There's obviously all the clips of Micah Parsons vouching for him, Dan Quinn vouching for him, Will McClay coming out and saying, hey, he's our highest rated player. We haven't had a defensive tackle rated this high in years. So obviously you see all that stuff come out after and you're like, okay, this pick makes sense.
Yeah. When we were looking at it from, okay, our defense looks great. Let's build our offense and try to make it great as well. But
exactly
how I think the Cowboys looked at it is like, no, we're going to push this to an elite level, because I think that I was thinking about this today. If the Cowboys, like we were talking about, kept them to, we were talking about on our Draftacular Extravaganza 2023. But the Cowboys have a great defense. They were keeping players to 22 points average the last 2 seasons or something roughly like that. Let's be nice, give them 23. If they could push that even lower to 19, now the Cowboys only have to score 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Right? And they can do that. Right, guys?
Oh, they should. They should.
And the offense,
100%.
the offense did improve. We do have questions in the O-line, absolutely. But who knows? Let's see what happens between now and there. I like the pick in Mazzy because it really says it was the start of like, okay, this is what we're gonna frickin' do. We're going all defense on this.
Well, and it's funny that you say that about the guard, because we had a guy ranked kind of for ourselves at that 26 pick. We had a guy, Osiris Torrance, that we thought possibly could go at 26. Well, he was still sitting around at 58 when we picked. This is maybe the one reason I don't necessarily like the tight end pick. The only reason I really, really like the tight end pick is because, one, AJ's convinced me I'm not sold on Hendershot and Fergalicious. I'm just not. And if we don't take Schoonmaker at 58, you're not finding another guy in the draft. Yeah, Darnell Washington would have been there in the 3rd round, but there's obviously issues with him for teams to shy away from him for that long. So I honestly,
Yeah, because every team did.
yeah, the Luke Schoonmaker pick, it's honestly probably the biggest pick that everyone's so fired up about that they hate. Where I honestly think the guy's going to be instantly fighting for the most reps at that position. So I don't hate it. He's probably going to get more starting time than say a guy like Sam Williams did from 2022. So Sam Williams, 2nd round pick,
which is what we want. Which is what we want. We want that.
I think he has I would look at him as he should be starting tight end, and he essentially replaces Dalton Schultz as a rookie with superior blocking.
Yep.
So
what's there to hate?
I can't hate that, and we know how Dak makes his tight ends better.
Yeah.
So that's not a knock on it. Like the blocking itself in that improvement, because now it does allow Ferguson or Hendershot to go out and be if they need to have Luke block, they can run out to the.
I like that you're calling him by his first name.
Well, we know each other.
Yeah.
By the way, Luke Shoemaker has major. Who did we go see?
Major weed issues?
No, major. I do. That's what's happening right now. Major. We went and saw his comedy show.
Oh,
Shane Gillis vibes.
Sweet. Okay, I gotta listen to interviews with him.
If Shane Gillis was like made in a lab, like with a lot of steroids,
they just look like they're brothers or something like that.
Yeah, they have the same cut the same cloth. Yeah. The thing, looking at the offseason and then coming in the draft, and I know this is gonna sound stupid because every team should have this, but it definitely, I felt good about the picks, even though they weren't taking the ones that we were wanting them. The ones that we charted on our boards, they weren't taking BPA. They were drafting with a purpose. They were filling the needs that they believe as a team that they have voids or areas that they need to shore up. So picking a Mozzie Smith, picking a Luke Schoonmaker, and I know you could counter that and say, well, they need to pick up a tight end, so he's just the best available for that pick. Obviously, maybe it was like a Luke Musgrave that they wanted instead of Luke Schoonmaker. Maybe it was Luke Schoonmaker all along. We'll never know because they'll never tell. But I feel good about the first 5 rounds because it definitely felt like they were going after specific needs and wants, and they weren't just taking the BPA.
Hey, look, Blog and the boys gave it a C- grade. We'll see. Blog and the boys.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I just don't see with him being in Dak's offense and being such a tight end friendly offense. His pre-draft ratings are better than Dalton Schultz, Fergalicious, Hendershot by a mile. So I just don't see how he can't be an upgrade. But who knows? We'll see. Moving on to the 3rd round. Oh, sorry, AJ.
But before we do, real quick, I just thought of something fun to do, and we can backtrack with Shoemaker. What would make that pick an A for you? Just like A doesn't mean like exceptional. Just like yes, that was the right pick. They did what we thought. What stat line?
Is it Schoon or Shit?
Schoon.
Is it? Okay.
It's Schoon. It's Schoon. It's Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker.
I don't know. Who knows? Who fucking knows?
A schooner is a sailboat.
We'll find out
a schooner is a sailboat.
We'll find out in year.
That's
in year 5. He's like, no, it's actually a scone maker.
We have to get that soundbite now.
Scone maker.
A schooner is a sailboat.
Yes.
Okay, so AJ, for him to be an A in my mind, he has to I would say have the higher percentage of maybe not even starts but reps, and then if he even gets, I would say, well, can we get up Dalton Schultz's stats? I would like to see Dalton Schultz's stats in the last 4 years, but I think Schultz last year only had like I think Schultz only had like 600 yards and 5 touchdowns or something last year. So even if he can match that,
well, keep in mind. Sorry, this is his stat line.
Kahuna says, I'm sure you guys will make a nickname for him when it gets to the point where you're not able to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Scooney.
So here's his stats, but keep in mind he was injured and also Dak was for 2022 for a couple games. So I think when we exfoliated, whatever, it evened up to be very similar to 2021 numbers had they played.
Yeah,
together.
if you round it up. So this is my thing. As I'm gonna go, I'm just gonna put our second round pick in the same ballpark as our last 2 second round picks. So in 2022 we selected Sam Williams, and in 2021 we took Bossman Fat. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like, I'm not saying the bar's low, but I don't feel like it should take Schoonmaker that much production to us be like, wow, that was a great second round pick.
For me, I would like him to get 800 yards, and it's right there, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 80 receptions.
Shit, that would be a fucking, that's an A plus 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 plus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I just think I think that's a pretty average starting tight ends stat line in the NFL.
Okay, so can you bring
for
up,
like
But my point is, like, a second round pick, if you look at our other ones, he shouldn't. I think he's going to start, but why all of a sudden are we like, okay, our second round pick, he's a tight end, he better fucking have, a crazy stat line? Where Sam Williams, you look at his stat line, it was awesome for the time he played, but everyone was stoked on him. But then you look at a Bossman Fat who was just awful. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of this spot where they have to produce in their first year. And I do think he's going to be our top tight end, but he shouldn't have to do that for it to still be an A, if that makes sense.
EJ Savage is saying Schoonmaker has a total, and EJ Savage is at the gym, so he's in between reps right now.
Oh, shit.
He's lifting.
He's
getting swole?
He's getting swole. He goes, and I'm going to take this nickname from Kahuna. The Magic Schoon Bus only has a total of 600 yards in his career.
That is really
but he never had Dak Prescott thrown to him. Like, or been in this offense. I think he's definitely. I'd be surprised if he doesn't flirt with 500 yards this year.
Fair enough, though. If I remember from conversation from Big Chris, he actually didn't start playing until 2021, and he was the second tight end, I believe, if I remember that conversation. If I'm not making that up, but even still, 400 of those yards came in 2022.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, you're right. It's not a huge sexy pick. I'm saying if he can catch a football, those are the numbers I expect him to get.
But I mean,
maybe 80 catches is a little high.
We talked about this before, and I know, Anth, you were saying that one of you guys were saying that you want him to be the replacement of Dalton Schultz, but ultimately, if Fergie or Hendershot can step into that number 1 role and then he slides into the number 2 production, then to me, it doesn't matter. As long as he's in that 1, 2, 3 slot and improves the numbers on the 1, 2, or 3, then I'm totally fine.
Hey, collectively, if the tight ends have 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns, I think that's a success, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. AJ did mention that before. He's like, sometimes you get caught up on one player, but if your tight ends as a whole, like all of them, the clone zone, because he's a clone zone. He's full on 100%, clone zone.
Yeah.
If the clone zone combines,
new batch. He's new batch.
He's new DNA.
He's an offshoot. He's an off-Schoon DNA.
He was grown from an ingrown hair.
He was an incubation.
Clone Zone 5000.
He's an incubation.
So I agree. If they can collectively have a decent season, I'm happy with it. The second round pick, of course we want them to start, but it doesn't happen all the time.
Right already, we're having some great conversations with Luke Schoonmaker because everyone's chiming in on what we're going to cheer. So we got Luke Skywalker.
Ooh.
We got Luke TD Maker.
Schoon.
We got the Score Maker, or the Skewer Maker as SCH. Luke First Down Maker. It goes on and on. So this will be great. We'll love these constant Luke Scooney Maker.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got to find out. We got to first see him what he's like on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It does make me feel happy.
Me in the face because this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
It does make me feel happy that Cowboys Chris was like, if he's there in the 3rd round, you have to take him. Yeah. Granted, we took him one higher than that, but there was no other tight end there.
That's probably why, if we look at the draft grade for a guy like Luke Schoonmaker, taking him in the 2nd is a C-. Taking him in the 3rd would probably have been a B+. He probably wouldn't have been there due to all the tight end the tight ends being grabbed. So again, looking at the Cowboys and drafting what they absolutely need to fill the projected offensive offensive schemes that they're going to be running. Like it's a very interesting. Like when you look at who they picked up in the undrafted free agents, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah.
And then the people that they signed in the offseason, they definitely have some stuff that they're mixing in, and they're picking up the players that are going to fit their system, which to me says we're going in for now. Like they're not drafting a Schoonmaker to develop him over the next 5 years. I feel like they're drafting because they need someone in that offensive scheme right now. And then when you look at the other people that they picked up, crack them if you got them. There's none in there. I checked already. But I brought down. We got some other crackums that we can do here, plus a pour.
And real quick, let's tap on what would make you happy with Mazi Smith.
Oh, what would make me happy with Mazi?
First round pick.
Yeah, first round pick. I mean, obviously, I want
start.
I want him to see him start.
Got to start.
Want to see him start, and then I mean, man, like
one sack, because it would almost triple its college career.
I don't care. I literally obviously I do believe we're gonna see him play on the rushing plays with what they're doing, and even the announcement that we'll get into it about Micah Parsons putting on extra weight and then kind of taking the position as.
Don't tease us.
He's showing his hand. He's showing his hand.
I could give a rip if Mazi gets any sacks. I want him to stop that fucking run.
Yeah.
I want to.
How about this?
I want to see him manhandle Jalen Carter.
How about this? We gauge it on how many sacks Micah Parsons gets.
Well, exactly like that. Like
Micah Parsons gets 18 sacks. Fucking A season, baby.
Or if the rushing total goes down from an average, I'm just spitting. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I think it was like we let like 120 a game average. If that even drops by like 10 to 15 yards a game, I think that's successful.
If we go from the number 22 run defense to number 10.
Yes.
He's a great pickup.
Top 15
would be huge.
Five spots. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking like top 10. I feel with him in that role, Micah down at permanent DE, our third round pick, which we're about to get into. I feel we could be in the top 10.
Well, that's a nice little segue right there.
That is a good segue. So 90th, we took Overshown, DeMarvion Overshown, linebacker from Texas. I love the fact this was an East Texas kid. He played, he was from a town of like 900 people or something crazy. Played high school football there, ended up going to the University of Texas. With that being right there is like, that's almost making all your dreams, right? And then to be drafted by the Dallas Cowboys after being from East Texas to the University of Texas Longhorns to then getting drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. That is a whirlwind of excitement. And I love his story personally. Like I love hearing that, like, and I like the way he plays. This guy is a hard-nosed football player. Yeah, he might be a little bit smaller for a linebacker, but he makes up for that with attitude and speed. Like, I'm ready to see this guy get it. Crack him if you got him. I'm ready to see this guy play, and I think he has a chance to play early.
You know what? There was a good video of him dancing on the sidelines with his teammates or freestyling or something like that. It was the video. I don't know if he was actually freestyling, but he looks like he's a fun guy, team player, so I like that. Because at first I kind of see him, he looks like he might be kind of a shy guy.
I don't want no shy guy.
But I like that he had that personality. So I'm excited to get to know this guy. But here's the fun thing about Overshown.
What's his size?
He's like his height?
Yeah.
It's like 6'3", 230 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like 6'2"-ish, 6'3"-ish, and then like 230. Yeah. He's not crazy big.
But and we might as well just fucking peel back the curtains now and expose the Wizard of Oz.
Do it.
If Micah Parsons is indeed putting on weight and the rumors are true that he's going to be pushed into a more, dare I say, permanent role of defensive end for the Cowboys, well, now you just need that coverage linebacker for 90% of the snaps there to be there, and he can fit that role very nicely. So it's very interesting. I don't know if that's the plan the entire time, but it's kind of funny because we were like kind of stoked, like, all right, Micah's gonna hop back. This was before they drafted Overshown. Okay, well, Micah's can hop back and play more of a traditional linebacker role now. Well,
I mean,
psych.
Yeah, I think we like Micah in a hybrid role, which I do feel like they'll still kind of move him into that. But the fact that he's putting on size and it's
all rumors now. But
no, I thought it came out and he actually said, he's saying, I'm staying in Austin. I'm not partaking.
Well,
in
he's definitely missing. He's not going to.
He'll be at
he's
the
not going
he'll
to
be at the OTAs.
He's
but
going to OTAs, but he's
Oh,
not going to. He's not going to the
right.
The
That's true.
What the fuck is it called? You don't have to.
like just the off-season strength and conditioning.
Yeah, it's like they meet up, but they're not considered the Cowboys' actual off-season program. But it's still
something that all players should do.
I think you should, and I kind of read that when I first read it, and I didn't read the fact that he was going to defensive end. I was kind of like, oh man, that's kind of shitty. Like you're a leader on the team now, you're in your third year. But if he's actually with someone, and I imagine this isn't just Micah making this decision.
Yes,
I believe this goes up the chain of command where they're like, yo, we don't want you to hit weeks 13 to 17 or whatever his slowdown was. You know how he had that slowdown? And it's because he's going against these 310 to 330 pound dudes, and he's at 250 pounds. Imagine he gets up to 270 and he doesn't lose speed. How how terrifying is that?
Hard to do in the short amount of time, but for someone with like the athletic prowess, like you look at a guy like John Jones in the UFC, different sport, but he goes up a weight class, maintains his speed, looks like a nice beefy fighter.
Beefy.
But it took him, he did it consistently over a course of a 2-year period. So it might not be a quick transition. He might still be arguably the same Micah Parsons this year, but if that's his trajectory, then the year for Micah Parsons at permanent DE will be a force to be reckoned with, because he'll have even another full year of size put on top of him.
I like the fighter analogy kind of, and if I was ever gonna bet on any player to like gain weight and still be super successful, I mean, my money's on Micah. I just his attitude's there, like his mindset to be the best is there. So I feel like gaining 15 to 20 pounds isn't going to hinder him more than it could benefit him.
David Johnson in the chat. I don't know if it's the Dave Johnson that we all know and love, but David Johnson. I don't even think. Yeah. Anyway, David Johnson, not anybody that we possibly know.
Anyways,
but he says he tweeted out that he's only going to be going up 10 pounds the most.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. But then it's like that's still, if that's 10 pounds of muscle, it's a massive fucking. Rather than like you can put on 10 pounds in the off season if you need to, but if it's muscle, the thing that worries me about it is like, or not even worries me about it, but it's like, say you put on, okay, it's off season, they could put on this pound. I imagine by the end of the season, he's going to be back down to his normal playing weight no matter what.
Do you think so?
Yeah, well, do you think do they work out hard during the season? It must be difficult.
That's why they do, but they're not, you're not trying to rep. It's more like
you got to maintain.
It's maintaining that supercar, right? Like the off season's like get fit, get bulked, lose weight, do whatever you need to do with the heavy intense stuff.
Yeah,
but
don't be cracking them all season.
Crack them if you got them, son.
Yeah.
But then once you get to season, it's maintain and do whatever you need to do to be the healthiest possible.
Well, I do love this. I love the over. Do I love it? I like this over Sean pick. I think it's going to be interesting to see. And yeah, I really hope that I'm correct, or that we're correct in the idea that perhaps that linebacker size is shifting, and we saw a bunch of this type of player come out. He got a good grade too.
And with the Overshown pick, I like it more now that this Micah news just came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes the pick makes the pick even better.
Before it was depth, and now it's positional.
I wonder. I'm interested, and it's actually a good camp battle. And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit talking about training camp battles, but
we're gonna get into depth charts later too. So
and that's what I mean. This is a good training camp depth chart battle between Overshown, Damone Clark, and Jabril Cox. They're all relatively the same dude. Like I don't mean the same.
Right.
Player, whatever. They're the same kind of size. They were all taken. Damone Clark, arguably before his injury, could have been a first-round pick, right?
And this is his year where he's now a full year out from, or 2 years or whatever it might be from that injury. So this is the like, okay, he should be as close to the 100% as he can be. So
and I love it because with those three dudes competing against each other to be the best, one of them is going to be a very good football player. One of them's going to obviously Jabril Cox kind of lost a little ground against Damone Clark once Damone Clark kind of came back.
Yeah.
But now Damone Clark has his 3rd round pick, and they're gonna, it's ego, right? You want to beat out the guy, you want to be the best on the team, and that only makes the guys behind you better, and it only makes the guys ahead of you better. So I'm excited. That's probably one of the more intriguing training camp depth chart battles that I'm looking forward to.
And watch out of football. Oh, okay, good you missed it. 4th rounder, Junior Fiocco, and we actually talked about this guy a couple of times. I think our trend was like we went low on him, then we were high on him. Overall, I think he's a stud. But with the Micah news, it's really interesting. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What's going to be happening on the O-line here?
So this
D-line.
This is the thing. As much as I like the Overshown pick at 3, the Micah going full-time defensive end makes this one a bit of a head scratcher. Sure, maybe they're thinking, okay, he's going to end up replacing Dorrance Armstrong and Fowler Jr. because they're both in their last years on the contract with the Cowboys. So maybe it's just kind of a play for the future. But with the Micah news, this one does. I mean, you're at a 4th to 7th round. You're just trying to shore stuff up. But we even talked that we didn't think defensive end was ever that much of a need, and now after today, we've now have 2 possible guys in the rotation.
But again, I don't want to project anything, but injuries can happen. We don't know. You need to have depth. So why not try to make sure you have depth? You have a solid defense. Why not make sure you have a great defense, regardless if the injuries, which we know are going to happen, come up?
Well, also let's just take a little step back here. Dan Quinn is manning these picks, or at least obviously putting a lot of his thought into it as well. What scheme does he have? But like, these are players drafted, I would assume, for making a difference to the Cowboys now. So like, what scheme is he going to be coming up with to utilize this? Let's consider Micah Parsons coming up and being defensive end now. So like, we got a lot on that line. Like, are we going to have a rapidly, there's a thing that hockey teams do where you change shifts every 30 seconds, and it's a wear and tear on the other team because they might be out there for twice as long, a minute-long shift, but every time you come out, you got these fresh legs, so by like the 3rd period, you're just flying around. So I wonder if there's that same concept in this, where it's like keep the rotation frequently enough. You want to keep your best players out there, but as soon as they get down to like 80% stamina, bring them out, get them back up to 90, and that's what seems a potential that could be.
And we did see that happen to Micah a couple times last year. Sorry for cutting you off, Ad, but we did see that a few times last year where it seemed like Micah could have used a couple series off or even a series off. So I don't hate it. Like Ad said, you never know what's going to happen with injuries, and like TGR Tony Goat Romo told us, you can always use pass rushers.
Jeremy Anello in the chat saying Fiocco is going to be a 3-tech. This is a move to replace Gallimore.
Which I don't hate. I mean, Gallimore, he's a Canadian boy, but maybe the writing's on the wall for him.
Well, right now they have him as a left defensive end on the depth chart on ESPN. So take that for what you will.
ESPN.
It goes like this, and I think that when we look at our team as being, those defensive powerhouses, we just don't like. If the defense can get better than what it already was, that is not a bad thing.
No. That
we need our offense time to cook and to take the pressure off of them, because I think they're a little bit more worried. To me, it's harder to add, and this is maybe another telling thing, and don't call me a Cowboys conspiracy theorist, but they are still trying. They're going to try something new. Not Dan Quinn. Mike McCarthy is going to be calling the plays. We have the uncertainty with Dak Prescott. Kellen Moore is out. So we're running a West Coast offense. There's a lot of uncertainty to how our offense is going to perform. But if we can make sure our defense is dominant every fucking down, which they were last year, these positions like we just talked about will make it even more of a sure thing. It allows our offense the time to adapt, to go into it, to feel out the new system that they're going to be running. So yeah, that's what that it would have scared me a little bit if they would have just been dealing with the weapons for Dak, because there's still just so much uncertainty with us going into this year.
Well, I got to ask you guys this. How fucking stoked are you guys for next year though?
Oh man.
It's like it's May and I'm just like, I just want it to be Cowboys football now, that because you get these peaks and valleys, right? Obviously immediately after free agency, you get this like, I want football so bad. Then it kind of goes into a lull. Then you do your draft stuff. Then it hits the draft and you're like, oh my God, I want football so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Then you go into another lull until training camp.
I want my training camp videos. I want my sounds from the sideline. I want preseason.
I know.
I want to see how these fucking trench warriors are going to fucking be doing for us. Like, yeah, I'm pumped.
So, okay, 5th round. Who do we got?
5th round, we got here Asim Richards, O-line from North Carolina. I have not even looked at this guy because I've been stuck on 6th round. But,
between 6th round, no one's 2nd round, no one's really talking about
no
Asim.
No one's talking about Asim. I mean, again, it's one of those depth spots, and it kind of ties into the fact that the reason the team didn't target offensive line earlier in the draft is because they're already convinced that they have the depth to start right now. Otherwise, they would have targeted it. There's no other way to explain the waiting till the 5th round to draft O-line. They're confident in what they already have. So this is just one of those safety picks. Okay, it's the 5th round. We like this guy. We like his measurables. We like what he put on tape. Let's draft him. Let's get him in there.
He's versatile. He could play. They're expecting that he's probably more of a guard in the NFL, but he played tackle. So, just a depth pick.
Yeah,
which isn't bad. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, it happened, and we were all kind of like, we don't hate it.
Yeah, no. I think we were kind of just like, okay, finally, there's an O-line pick.
Yeah. Oh my God, they took O-line.
That's exactly it.
Don't care. If it was a center, I would have been like, okay, good, thanks.
But if it plays into our 2nd, 6th round pick, could we not have drafted a running back in 5th round and then taken a different O-line? Like, is Asim that much better than somebody in the 6th round O-line? I don't know who
you could have jigged if you wanted to jag. Yeah. Okay. You didn't.
According to Jerry and Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy and Will McClay, they liked him better than anyone else in the 5th round.
Yep. Okay. I like that we moved quickly through Asim. Everyone's like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's not. I mean, this is how a 5th or 6th or 7th round pick is usually talked about. How we just talked about Asim, right?
Now,
like even 6th round Eric Scott, there was a trade and everything, but realistically, he's the 6th round corner that was drafted. Like, what is there really to say? Hopefully he makes the team. Hopefully he's a contributor. But that's about all you can say about them.
Yeah, get him in there. Let's have him battle for a spot. If he does happen to outplay one of the current guys, great. The team gets better. If not, but that's what you're expecting with the picks. I think 5th round is your last, Hail Mary, basically, to like get someone who's like, oh, good pick. Where now you're 6, like you're looking for depth, a freak. Well, I mean, 5th is even stretching it where the Cowboys pick.
Sorry, sure. I mean, the big thing that we're not emphasizing here is that they traded up for Eric Scott.
Well, let's see what happens.
They traded up for Eric Scott Jr. So if you look at it, and it was like the top of the 6th. So you could, if we're going on the narrative of like a 5th rounder is still someone that you're looking pretty, like technically an Eric Scott free Jr. It would be that kind of guy. Like, okay,
well,
great.
Let's say this: they traded a 4th round pick from next year.
Yeah, well,
to go up and get him.
Yeah,
so they think that he's worth a 4th round grade.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what Jeremy Anello in the chat just said. He goes, they gave up a 5th.
Sorry,
they gave up a 5th round pick, so they must really like Scott.
Exactly. So they're saying that's what they had him graded at in the 5th, because they moved up into the 6th to get him. And I mean, it does, again, cornerback. This is where you're going to find those guys wide receiver, cornerback, one of those deeper positions, offensive line, defensive line. These are the spots in the draft that you take a flyer on a guy you like. Obviously, we just had to give up a little bit more to get the guy we liked.
And this is another reason that the Deuce Vaughn pick pisses me off, because they made this trade so they could get, because they could have got this guy. They could have got this guy in the Deuce Vaughn pick, but they made the trade, so we actually lost a pick because of that feel good frickin'.
But do we know that do we know that they would have got him at that? Because if they
don't think they would have.
Oh, exactly. They don't think they would have.
Well, I imagine
because they traded
draft grade C minus.
Yeah, I wonder if that if that takes into account.
Hey, does that bother you that they give Deuce's Loose an A draft grade?
No, because it's based on his high ceiling potential. It's like, okay, if the size doesn't matter, you've just got yourself a fucking killer. And I agree. But that's a big if.
Yeah, I mean, so just one last thing on the Deuce Vaughn scenario here.
I hope he fucking kills it, man.
Exactly.
I hope he comes in even as a rookie. I hope he gets a fucking reverse when he's on the field and he takes it for 75 yards. The bandwagon boys at Anthbest will be going absolutely fucking bonkers. We'll be shotgunning. We want that to happen.
I feel like every time Deuce Vaughn gets a 10-yard run, Alex has to take a shot of Screech.
I will make. Fuck me. No, but I will also make a personal Deuce is my daddy shirt.
Here's the biggest thing, though. Here. We'll be the first ones to troll ourselves if Deuce Vaughn is the next biggest running back of the NFL. Like,
but you guys have been.
We will clip ourselves. When I say we, I'm. If you're calling people lunatics, I'm calling people lunatics. So
yeah, this is okay. I'm a realist, right? I've watched enough NFL, and yeah, sure, I do have pet cats, and I like guys, and I want certain people, but I've watched enough NFL to know that it is extremely hard for undersized guys to be successful. Yes, I've watched his college tape. I've watched all his highlights. The guy he was a very, very good college player. Everything is against this guy from having a success in the NFL will be him making a 53-man roster, in my mind.
I think so.
That's to him. Obviously, his ceiling is a Darren Sproles type player, but his reality to me, and I know this might get flack, because I know there's a big fan base that loves the guy. I love the guy too, but I think he's more a fringe practice squad guy that could maybe get onto a team like a Danny Woodhead and have maybe a couple good seasons in the past. I don't know. It's just there's so much against him to actually do.
Listen, we're going to need to do a film session. I'm not talking a Deuce Vaughn film session this offseason. The three of us need to come into my theater room, turn down the lights, pop some popcorn, and put on a good movie that everybody would watch when the substitute teacher would come into your school.
Rudy.
It's called Rudy.
Yeah.
Okay? Someone who was undersized and had a dream about playing at Notre Dame.
Didn't the guy go offside on that play?
It doesn't matter what happened there, okay? What I'm saying is that there is a chance that Deuce Vaughn is the Cowboys' Rudy.
Well, and the thing with him, there is a chance because he is fucking amazing. Like, he had an amazing college career. There's a chance that he makes it, but it's just 5'5", 179. It's hard for me. It's hard for my brain to get past that. So
I can't lie to myself.
Wasteful 440 says is Big 12 a good division?
So in college football, it's the so you got the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12. That's like the kind of the pecking order for divisions.
Yeah. And in fairness, last year they had Kansas State had the 7th most difficult schedule.
Yep.
They didn't have a lot of receivers, but they had their best receivers of Deuce Vaughn's career in 2022. So that definitely helped. But that was Deuce Vaughn's best season as well.
He balled out, man. He killed TCU. They were a top 10 ranked team. Like we're not trying
Alabama. We get it.
We're not trying to take anything away from what the guy did in college.
Bandwagon Baba says he's as tall as me and almost the same and almost the same weight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it.
Baba, you should have hit the draft up. You could have been a 6th-round pick.
We're gonna take Bandwagon Baba and we're gonna superimpose over top of Deuce Vaughn's runs. Yeah. Anyways,
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
It's a second 6th-round pick. I'm not as mad as AJ on it. I'm more mad almost of the Asim pick because I think around that time we probably could have got one of our backs that we wanted, and then it would have been a non-issue.
Was after. I'm sorry.
It was in the fifth round. Like, so picking him in the 6th round, you're like, well, why, if you really wanted a running back and you needed a running back, they either completely believe that Deuce Vaughn is going to fit in whatever scheme they got because of their tight end that they're drafting, getting a run block.
I got a mini Mac package.
Yeah,
with extra sauce.
Yeah.
So let me read out here since 2013, all of the Dallas Cowboys 6th round picks. And anyone listening, obviously there's a couple guys that stick out, but I'm going to start from 2013, and there's just no one that jumps off the board at you. 2013, the Cowboys drafted linebacker Devontae Hollowin. Okay. Round 6, 2016, Rico Gaithers, tight end. Okay. Running back Darius Jackson, also in 2016. Safety Kavon Fraser, also in 2016. So they had 3 6th-round picks in 2016. None of them panned out. In 2000, my bad. They had 4 6th-round picks in 2016. Anthony Brown was the one guy that kind of made a mainstay and ended up making money. 2017, Marquez White, cornerback. 2017, Xavier Woods, safety. 2018, linebacker Chris Covington. 2019, Donovan Wilson, who we love. 2021, defensive tackle Quinton Bahana. And 2022, Devin Harper. So I none of those names, minus Anthony Brown and Donald Wilson, really, like, and those are both those are both cornerbacks, and they're both defensive backs.
Do you know who else was drafted in the 6th round?
Who?
Tom Brady.
There you go.
I hate that dude. That's another I hate. Like how is anyone even comparing Tom Brady being drafted in the 6th round to this?
Okay, at the end of the day, what we're trying to say is that everything is stacked against him. So for anybody to say that he's a sure thing, you're absolutely a
lunatic.
So that's the position that we need to take on this. Do we like this? Yes. Do we want it to work out? Yes. That's not what we're arguing. We're just arguing the fact that this is it. There's other things that are playing to his favor,
and people are fucking crazy,
and people are
lunatics.
They're sensationalists.
Sensational.
Quiet crack.
Wow, my head disappeared. Look at that.
Hey, some people
crack him if you got him.
Some people quit at their job. Anthony quiet cracks at his job.
Yeah.
Crack him if you got him, son.
All right, in our final pick here, 7th round, Jalen Brooks, wide receiver. Let's see what he's got.
You guys see his one-handed catch? Did you see the highlight of his one-handed catch?
I did, but Kilo, he's saying, Aunt Adam and AJ, toss me one, son.
Oh, Kilo, I wish you were in the room with me so I could toss you one, bro. I really do.
Hey, Kilo, Thanksgiving 2023, we'll toss you one.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know Kilo's rolling down there. Oh, you know he is.
Just have a peek at that clip. We can't show it, of course, because we got to figure out how to do that. But
it's an OBJ. It's an OBJ catch.
It was a nice catch. He had a nice one-handed catch.
And against Georgia.
So
Georgia.
Hey, I mean, like, at that point, you're just picking a player, getting the draft wrapped up.
Yep.
So our final draft grades, guys. How do you guys feel?
I think a B+, man.
I respect that. I'm also going to go B+, AJ.
I think I said when we were on one of our shows,
yeah,
B+.
I might have changed mine, but
I'm still saying, yeah, you were.
I was low.
I think you were heated in the moment.
C+ maybe. I think AJ was.
Yeah.
Well, I docked a lot for the Deuce Vaughn pick, but
hey, we're all emotional sometimes. It's
I got away those first 3 picks very hot, much more heavier than everything else that happened. And
way heavier. Yeah. Way heavier.
So,
yeah, I going back to it, and then I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go. Can we just look at the undrafted free agents list that we picked up?
Ooh,
because this is a good tell too. Like, these are some good players that I think they draft. That it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we drafted you guys because we believe you have something, and prove it.
Can I tell you?
Cowboys have always been absolutely well. One, if you were undrafted free agent, what team would you want to get signed by? Probably the Cowboys.
Yep.
I think they pay more their signing bonuses for undrafted free agents are usually higher. But I'll ask you this guy, who's the most ask you guys this, who's the most famous undrafted free agent by the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh shit. Well, it's gonna be someone in the hall.
Troy Aikman.
No,
Troy Aikman was drafted in the first round.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
And this is actually a question I don't know the answer to. I just have my personal opinion.
Tony Romo.
Oh, who?
Romo.
Romo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I only said that because Jeremy and Ello had my back in chat.
Said Tony Romo.
He said Romo.
Yeah, Romo, fucking 100%. In my eyes, Tony Romo's.
You know how they have like the when they say like BC, like before Christ, well, there's before bandwagon boys. So that mythology is like BWB.
BWB 01. So we're in BWB 03 right now.
We're in BW. No, we're on a B. We're in a BWB 03.
I'm confused.
We're after after the bandwagon boys became Cowboy fans. We're in year 3.
There it is.
So AWBW 3. Okay, so
I lost it.
You were too busy getting up, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I'll just flat. I mean, I'll go down the list here just because.
Yeah, I can't read it.
I'll read out the list. So
let's
here's
hear
our undrafted free agents. Hunter Kiepke, I was calling him Lepke. Hunter Kiepke, fullback, North Dakota State. Tyrese Wheat, outside linebacker. Isaiah Land, defensive end. David Durden, wide receiver, West Florida. Earl Bostick Jr., offensive tackle. Princeton Fant, tight end.
He's a cousin of
Noah
Fant.
Noah Fant.
Great name, by the way.
Cousin or brother?
Jalen Moreno Cropper, wide receiver. Jose Barbin, wide receiver. Man, a lot of wide receivers. TJ Bass, guard. Darrell Johnson, outside linebacker. Miles Brooks, cornerback. D'Angelo Mandel, cornerback, and John Stevens Jr., wide receiver. So we drafted not one, but we drafted 4 undrafted wide receivers in this undrafted free agency list.
They always pile up the wide receivers, especially because we didn't really target wide receiver in the draft.
But the most exciting one is Hunter Kiepke, who is kind of a fullback, kind of a running back, kind of a tight end. But what we know and what we feel, or what maybe I feel, is that he's our answer to that tough yardage. He's our answer to our deuces loose. He's our answer to I feel like he's a fringe clone zone. I'm just going to say it right now.
So
he's
they have
fringe clone zone.
They have a spelling mistake there because it's not Cubeke. It's
I know.
Lupke. Okay.
It's Lepke.
It's like Lepke.
Lepke. I call it Lepke.
Hunter Lepke.
I know.
6'1", 230 pounds.
Yeah, 100% he's a clone zone. Bring that over to the screen. There you go. Look at that. Look at that boy.
His issue is fullback is a dying position in the NFL. The Cowboys got him as an undrafted free agent. And actually, I can't remember who was talking about the Cowboys possibly drafting a fullback.
We were.
Well, but someone in chat was talking about it prior going into day 3.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, someone was talking about it in chat. They were talking about how Mike McCarthy loves having a tight end in his West Coast offense.
No, we brought. I remember the conversation. We brought it up, saying, "Well, do we think the Cowboys would do it because we know Zeke's the blocker and we don't have that back there. We got the small back." And then someone in chat, probably Jeremy and Ello, said, "Yeah, Mike McCarthy really likes, or EJ Savage. Mike McCarthy likes having the fullback in his schemes." And then all of a sudden, as soon as we go off air, Hunter Kiepke, possibly Lepke.
It's
I know.
It's
Lepke.
It's fucking Lepke.
I'm gonna call him Lepke.
It's Lepke.
I want to say Lupus.
Whatever. Hunter L. This guy could be a
HL.
He could be an Edelman type of player.
Well, Edelman was smaller though.
No, he's if anything, he's like an Allstott. He's like a Mike Allstott. That's the comparison. Edelman was like a slot guy who was like a Cole Beasley.
But was Michael Allstott? Did he catch a lot of passes too?
No, he's kind of a running guy. Because
Hunter Lepke was
he can catch.
If you look at some of his stuff, he'll go down and he'll toss him one, son. That's why I was like, oh, this guy feels kind of like a little bit of a tight end almost.
Well, the Cowboys in the last few years, obviously under Kellen Moore, the fullback has usually been like a McKeon or a Fergalicious. So I bet you I think this guy has a pretty good chance to make the team. Honestly,
he's my jersey if he's a starter.
Yeah, it's gonna
100%. He's my jersey.
That would be a good jersey. I'm just looking at his receptions. He wasn't a huge reception.
I hate fullbacks. I'll just say that right now. I hate fullbacks.
He ran the ball well. He had some great averages. Got a lot of touchdowns. So maybe he's a red zone threat. But he played at NDSU.
North Dakota. Yeah, North Dakota State.
So I just feel like this is for what our running game needs. I feel like this is a good, because we don't know if Rojo can block like Zeke. We don't know if Zeke's coming back. All we know is we got Malik Davis, TP20.
Hey man, don't sleep on Davis.
No, I'm just saying, but hear me out. Malik Davis, TP20, and Deuce is loose. They're all similar style running backs. And then you put Rojo in there. Rojo isn't, you can't say Rojo's a Zeke. I would probably put Rojo more closer to a mid-tier TP20. So, like, we got 4 potential running backs that aren't going to provide those tough yardages or blocking our QB.
You want to hear a hot take here?
Yeah,
Malik Davis beats out Deuce Vaughn for that final running back position. Fucking pencil it in.
I don't think it's a hot take. I think that's
for Cowboys Nation, yeah, that's gonna get AJ hung and dragged by the back of a vehicle somewhere, because you go against Deuce Vaughn on the internet right now.
It's the witch trials.
People are coming at you.
It's the Cowboy witch trials right now. You say anything bad about Deuce Vaughn, it's like you're condemned.
You hate the Cowboys.
All I'm gonna do.
You're not a Cowboy fan. You obviously don't watch tape.
All those people who said that CanFan gets an L and they're not listening to us anymore. I'm coming back to that comment.
Oh yeah.
I'm coming back to that comment to say you better. So you don't want fucking solid analysis week 1? You dummy, come back and watch a show and learn something.
It is crazy how we do have a couple of people that we haven't seen for a while. Remember Steve Chili? He used to be in the chat every single week, but Anth made that one comment about losing faith in the Cowboys going into the postseason, and he said, "I can't listen to you guys anymore." And then we haven't seen him since.
Hey, the man. Hey, you know what? If there's one thing about Chili, he's an honest man.
Well, and I'll say one thing.
Steve, he was devastated.
Steve, if you're out there,
always welcome back.
Steve, I just wanted to know, you can go fuck yourself, dude.
Because you were right.
Little bitch.
We get a grass.
So what do we got? We got the depth chart coming up here. Let's look at some depth chart here.
Yeah, I made some.
An AJ thumbnail or an AJ.
Give me presenter mode or something like that. I can't stand to see that. Oh, there you go.
AJ's going full draft board mode here. I like it.
Hang on. Oh, I can't really.
Here, I'll fix my screen.
You're gonna have to just go over to the right a little.
I'll fix it.
Okay, so this is roughly the current offense, and if I'm missing someone, let me know. I'll add them right now. This is kind of the current offense. Okay, have a look, take it in. We got Tyron Smith, left tackle, Tyler Smith, left guard, Biadaz. We got 4 T's and a Z up front.
I think I already see a change.
Yep.
Tyler Smith is not going to be at left guard, I don't think.
Okay, so
that's my one thing. That's my one thing.
Any players missing? And for audio listeners, you got to come look at the board. We make these really fun grade 9 looking type of presentations.
And if you're American, do not be upset the way that we spell offense.
Okay, well, look, let's move on. Yeah, I know. I spell it the American way too. So when we get to defense.
Is that the American way or is the Canadian way?
I can't remember.
Doesn't matter.
But let's go to, this is our board. This is where we get to have some fun, and we're going to make some changes here. So I had green, meaning I think that's what they're going to be. Yellow being they're probably going to start, or they're probably going to be on the team, but maybe they're not going to be in that position specifically. And red is like, I don't think they're going to make the team. But, Anth, go ahead. This is where we can make those changes. You think Tyler Smith...
I don't think the Cowboys are set at or complete. I mean, obviously, this is just us. This is just us suggesting, right? But just what the Cowboys have said with Steele, they're not really convinced on him at right tackle right now. So they've been talking about Tyron Smith being right tackle, and Tyler Smith being left tackle just because of Steele's injury still. So I don't know if he's going to be hurt, or obviously they're not worried about it, or they would have addressed it more in the draft. I just don't think when both Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith were healthy last season, Tyron Smith was at right tackle and Tyler Smith took over left tackle. So if you think your better tackle is on the field, he's going to play that position. So
Sorry,
when both
AJ has to plug in. Sorry,
oh,
keep going.
So I just think with Tyler and Tyron Smith, I think Tyler's going to be left tackle just because they've both been available at one point, and Tyler already beat him out for the position. And left tackle's probably the most important spot on the offensive line.
Why is that the most important?
Well, you're blocking Dak Prescott's blind side, right?
Yeah.
So when Dak drops back to throw the ball, you can't let no backside bandit in there, bro.
I got that on lockdown. I'd play it right now, but you wouldn't hear it. So
it would have been it actually would have been a perfect time while AJ was getting sorted.
I know. I can't. I don't even have it open, and I'm afraid to do anything on the computer right now because it's in Crashzilla mode.
That's fair. Well, okay.
So now, now that
this.
AJ's back with his headphones on,
And I'm
the only reason
we've been pouring triples over here. I'm pretty fucking drunk. I feel drunk after just 2 drinks.
Nice. Everyone just thinks you're drinking water.
Yeah, it's just like, are you drinking a water because you're a pussy?
I think
my only thing, AJ, my only thing was when Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith last year were both healthy and available, Tyler Smith was still playing left tackle, which is the most important spot on the offensive line.
Okay.
So I don't see that changing. I don't see that changing going into the season.
I love it. And I kind of just copied and pasted from what was on the depth. So where does Terrence Steele go?
I don't know.
Is he
I would love him at
tackle, swing tackle.
Well, that's what they said, but that just doesn't make sense to me either.
So
I think he's better than Tyron Smith.
Who's going to play our guard then?
We don't know. That's why. That's why
Richards?
I wanted.
Well, we got to figure that out right here, boys.
That's why I wanted to draft guard so bad, because I don't see that position on the team right now. And obviously the team knows something more than I do. And until their official training camp depth chart comes out, I mean, it's a guess. So maybe AJ's initial one is the right way.
This just in, Deuce Vaughn is going to be playing left guard.
Well, let's take
for the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's take what Ant said to heart. Let's say Terrence Steele is going to come in and play tackle or left tackle, right tackle, but not week 1 through 3. So now who's our starting lineup? Well,
I'm saying Josh Ball's left guard right now.
Ooh, okay.
Josh Ball.
That's what they've said so far. Josh Ball is
okay.
Do we like it? No, we hate it. We hate it a lot. But just from what the Cowboys brass have said, Josh Ball is the potential guard right now.
Then there's the big question mark on Asim Richards. Might blow the roof off in camp and preseason and become a potential starting guard until Terrence Steele can come in, and then we can figure out who's gonna switch in there for left guard, or he might just be a fucking bust, and now we're even thinner.
I really like the visuals because I think you did a good job.
Yeah, that's good.
For next week, though, can we have it so that it's lined up the way
we're not doing it again next week?
No, but I mean, when you do a final one, can you line it up so that it looks like they would on the field, so that we have the proper amount of wide receivers?
And I know what you're saying. You know like a Madden formation where it's kind of like
formation. Which I'm not.
I know what you mean. Add a slot wide receiver.
Yeah, this is fantastic, but I want to see our guys. I want to see our guys lined up Madden-esque.
Here's the problem. I had the idea about a week ago, and then I just did it today. So
hey, dude, the fact that you did it,
I like it.
The fact that you
the
did
visuals
this is
amazing.
Yeah, the visuals. I'm a visual person.
I totally envisioned. You know when you play Madden and they have the.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, but this is as close
as I
got.
as I'm talking about it, I kind of want to take this image that you got going, and I'm going to get a big thing printed for our wall, so that during season and stuff we can move around players and rosters.
Oh, that'd
and stuff.
Be sweet.
You could
and do a segment.
You could. It's on the.
I like that it's. Yeah, I like that it's interactive.
It's interactive. It's fun.
Yeah.
So. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, Brock Hoffman's going to be the starting center. We get it.
I'm going to just say we got a big oops.
I like that you're.
We got a big red alert at left guard. Let's just put it that way.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes, left guard right now to me, and I said this going into the draft, left guard to me was the one spot on the team that I didn't feel like there was a starter on the team right at the point. So,
yeah, but you know what? There's also the opportunity of Matt Waletzko. Big wingspan, got injured, so we didn't really get a yay or nay on him, but he stuck around, so they must like him enough.
Basically lost his rookie season.
Yes, so could he be just enough of a fucking Band-Aid at right tackle until Terrence Steele comes back and it's 100%? Because I do believe, I think I'm a big believer in if you have to sacrifice a game or two in a season to make sure that a player comes back and is healthy to help you for the rest of the season,
better do it.
You should probably do that because there's still a chance you could win. But can you afford those L's early in the season? For whatever reason, it's just a lot easier to take those losses than it is later.
Yeah.
Well, look at it. We got smoked by the Bucks week 1, right? Got absolutely got our shirts beat off us. So I don't disagree with that.
Well, actually, if you look at it, it's one of those scenarios where what does the schedule look like? So if you have like winnable games right out of the gate, then I think you try to do whatever you can to win those games. Yeah. And then you rest them on I don't know. I think that type of conversation, we need to look at the schedule first and then we say, okay, well, do you have this person come back this week early or can you handle without it?
So you look at this, you look at these positions, and I'd say the next spot that I'm not completely sold on, running back.
I'm going to give it a yellow.
I'd go yellow because obviously you got TP20 Pro Bowl player, but coming off an injury, you got the thing is behind him, minus Rojo, you got unproven people. And when's the last time Rojo had a good season?
I actually feel like you're going to go, it's going to be TP20 and then it's going to be our boy Lepke right after him. And I know we can't technically put a fullback in a running back spot, but I mean, that's like, I feel like that's how it's going to roll.
Even if Lep makes the team, I would say he probably has less than 15 carries.
I don't care if he carries or not. I'm just saying like I think he's going to be on the field a lot.
So, but let's say that. Let's add Lepke to that running back list just for going into training camp. So you got Tony Pollard, Ronald Jones. Those guys are probably on the team, no doubt. Then Malik Davis already made the team, proved himself in preseason last year. Did he get a couple chances in the regular season? I think he did, right?
Yeah, he had a good game against Tennessee.
Yep.
So, and then you got Deuce Vaughn coming in and Lepke. So when you're considering, like, we know TP is 1A. Ronald Jones is coming in to play a part on the team. Malik Davis, he's not just going to lay down and let Deuce Vaughn take over. He wants to be on this team too, and has proven that he's been a pretty sufficient running back when his number has been called. So to me, it adds to the hate, but Vaughn is the odd man out unless he comes with something really special because of what Lepke can offer in his game.
I could picture Davis doing the old soap in a sock trick and taking out Deuce Vaughn if he had to.
If he needs to, yeah.
I've been here for 2 fucking years. You're not beating me out.
No, listen, this is going to be those scenarios where you're going to hear fucking Jonah Hill say, "You're not trying to you can't replace Gianni. You have to. You can't find a player to replace Gianni. You have to find the positions to place Gianni." So. They need to replace Zeke's production. Lepke, if he can get those tough yards and maintain the same amount of touchdowns that Zeke had on those 1 to 2 yards. Think of it. Every time Zeke took those like 1 or 2 yard plays, we're all just
guys, time the fuck out. I hate the fact that we're comparing an undrafted free agent fullback to Ezekiel Elliott. It bugs me a bit. There's no fucking way that Luke Key or Lepke or whatever the fuck his name is coming in and taking over what Zeke did. Zeke was very underrated last year. He was one of the best blockers in the NFL. He had 12 fucking touchdowns. This guy should be happy if he makes the NFL.
Yes.
Okay. So
I think Adam's point.
Let's drop it a bit on this guy.
No, going back to my point that I was trying to make before Anth fucking. Will we realize that if Deuce is loose is Alex's fucking hot topic issue, Zeke is still Ant's hot topic issue, which I appreciate.
When we compare undrafted free agent fullbacks to him,
I'm just saying right now when we look at that roster of running backs, none of the like TP20, Rojo, Malik Davis, Deuce is loose. They can't hit those tough yards that we were all very confident of Zeke. That's where I feel like Lepke could fucking make his mark on the team by taking the tough yardage plays. And I'm saying that they're not looking at one person to replace Zeke. They're looking at 3 guys to replace Zeke's numbers. That's what I'm talking about.
So you're saying you're saying
that was my Gianni thing from Moneyball. It's like you can't go player to player. You have to go 3 players to replace one person's thing, which gives me more props to Zeke.
You're taking the concept of what we talked about previously with tight ends, and having a clone zone stat total, and then saying that that's what we need to produce from our collection of running backs needs to produce what Zeke did.
The surefire thing that they could have done is fucking not take any of these flyers and made the trade for Derrick Henry. And that would have been an upgrade from Zeke.
You are just lucky we are not in whatever year, 1970s, 1980s Miami, because you would have Anth would have pulled a pistol out and placed it to the center of your dome.
We're talking about being sensational, like sensationalizing stuff. Like,
sensational.
Let's just say, let's put the bar for Loop and Deuce Vaughn. Their bar right now is to make the team.
Yes.
Let's see what they can do after they make the team.
Baby
talking
steps.
about them replacing Zeke in short yardage or any of that shit. Zeke is the third or fourth top running back that's ever played for the Dallas Cowboys. So
I'm not talking about 2016 Zeke. I'm talking about 2022 Zeke.
So the guy with 12 touchdowns in the NFL. Lupke will be happy if he gets 1 touchdown in the NFL.
And I wasn't even talking about touchdowns from just one player. I was talking about you need 3 guys to replace those 12 touchdowns.
I'm still handing the ball to Tony Pollard before an undrafted free agent.
Okay, question here. Red zone. We're on the 1 yard line.
Tony Pollard.
Yeah?
100 fucking percent. What has Tony Pollard done to make you not think that he can run between the tackles?
True.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I take that
so
back.
So instead, let's give it to a guy that wasn't even drafted.
Sorry. Yes, I remember what Tony Pollard did that makes me doubt that he can run between the tackles. He has a broken femur.
which is a 3-month healing process.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't a
tear.
Well, okay, it was a pretty severe break, but those breaks heal very.
Oh, it's better that it's a break than a fucking tear for sure.
Okay, and so if not Tony Pollard, I'm going to give it to Rojo because you know what, he has done it in the NFL also.
And then if Rojo's injured,
Malik Davis.
Yeah, so I think we've got our. I think we're looking, guys. We're looking pretty confidently at our starting 3.
Adam's got that the Deuce Vaughn shades on for.
No. I'm more of a Lupke guy. I just feel it makes sense to what they're trying to do, and I feel like out of everybody, I feel like Lupke is gonna do more for us than Deuce. This
people are going to think we're talking about 3 different people.
I know, Lepke,
Lip, HL.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the wide receiver position? Jalen Tolbert. I mean, we got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Brandon Cooks locked in, no questions, right? We got our 4th there, Jalen Tolbert. I'm 90% sure he will be the 4th. At least on week 1, at least into the preseason week 1.
Yeah. I mean, I like the comment that this is effectively Jalen Tolbert's like rookie season. Like that made me feel a little bit better about some of the drafting stuff that we initially did.
If you want to put up a pretend scenery and then act like you're in a fantasy world. Yeah, this is his rookie season.
The last 5 minutes, did that not feel like I was in a fantasy world?
No, and I'm not coming at you because you're bringing up
fantasy baby. I want
Here we go.
Son of a
This is called
Deuce Vaughn.
this is called gin intoxication.
Yeah.
Jin is banned from the studio from now on.
Yeah, Adams took his pants off.
Yeah, I'm not wearing pants right now. BT,
It's
BT
too
dub.
hot. It's too hot. No, it's not his rookie season, and he doesn't get a long leash. And I hate to use that term for many reasons, but
EJ Savage said it, by the way.
Okay.
About the Tolbert thing.
I think he gets the second chance. Let's see what he can actually do, because if Mike McCarthy's coming in and changing things up, and it went from a 20% change to a 35% change to probably going to be a 50+% change. They're not going to tell us the actual number, but it could be an entire revamp for the most part. You got to give this guy another try. There's not been enough to show that he's junk, but there's not been enough to warrant him to stay on. So they didn't make the move. And
You see his six pack? Dang, son. He's looking yoked, son.
Let's take. Hey,
J Tolbs is looking yoked.
Oh right, and his I think either his thigh or his calves look fucking.
I think he's a handsome guy.
I think he's definitely they're slotted him in as wide receiver 4. AJ, your list is really your depth chart was banging.
Look at that. Not as banging as fucking Tolbert's fucking shred. Welcome to Shred City. Welcome to Mayor Tolbert or Tolbert.
He better take.
We'll get a name right at some point today.
And he better take those fucking bracelets off when he plays the game. That's for sure.
Why? Because he's gonna get flagged.
Okay, and final thing I just want to kind of confirm with you guys before we go over a look at defense here. Tight end, I think we're all in the consensus that the expectation is it's going to be a 3-headed monster.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be Fergie, Schoon, Hendershot.
Really?
Yeah.
Week 1.
Week 1?
Or entire season.
I just feel like Fergalicious is going to, because we have a dope sound drop for that.
Yeah.
He has a season under him. Schoonmaker, I think we're going to see some good out of him, but for him to come up and be the number 1 TE and have more production, I don't see that as big of a possibility as Jake Fergie kind of having more snaps. That's just my thought.
Okay.
Which I've been wrong before.
Yeah, right.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, right, Adam. You're never wrong.
Well, thank you for saying that.
All right, well, here we go. We got now this board might be even more hard to see, but I kind of did try to do the 3 levels.
Well, this you have it set up like how they would play on a field. Like I do like this. You have literally you got your defensive line, then you have your linebackers and your corners, and then your free safety. The only thing back to how I think Ad had said about maybe a slot receiver, a corner or a slot corner would be nice to see too.
Well, now seeing it on our board here, and you have to come to youtube.com/CowboysCanFan now at CowboysCanFan.
That's
or
right.
just search Cowboys Can Fan. You can find us if you're an audio listener. But now, from what I see, we can shrink things a little bit more and open up some space because you can see things better than I thought. So that's good. But this is from ESPN again, what they have currently. And team looks good.
Yep.
Team looks real good.
Yep.
They have Neville Gallimore starting, hey?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And look, let's not beat around the bush. Let's get down to our
our board.
Like Neville Gallimore might not even make the team.
I know, and I think that this is way too early depth chart analysis.
Yeah, and that's exactly. 100%. So just starting off here, like I like that you have left defensive end, obviously. So and with the news today,
I know.
Where's Micah now fit in there?
So
Well,
I think
change it up.
I think we're gonna have to shuffle some things around. It's gonna be
Shuffle it
fun
around
here.
right now. Here we go, baby. Here we go.
So let's
He's
do.
got
We're
RDE
doing ours
Micah.
now. We're doing ours now.
Yeah.
So let's bring them from. Oh, I got to unlock. Hang on.
Unlock it. Pop it,
Unlock
unlock
it.
it.
Okay, let's do this.
Pop and lock, baby. Let's go.
We bring him down to RDE.
Yeah, we
With
know
the
he's gonna
news
start.
with the news drop today of Micah trying to bulk up to end up being a full-time defensive end, he's got to be slotted in as opposite of D-Law, correct?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Overshown totally goes over to Strong. See, and this is the one spot, right? I find like with Damone Clark, and this is what I'm going to say. I would like to see Damone Clark over at the weak side above Jabby.
Okay.
And then I'd like to see Jabby. Jabby's basically going to float in for either of those guys. For Damone Clark or DeMarvion Overshown. So this is another thing. Like if you have, obviously the NFL nowadays is ran a lot of nickel, so you have more cornerbacks than linebackers. If in that situation, that's why it would be nice to see the linebackers in that regard when you have 3 cornerbacks instead of 3 linebackers, because that kind of would actually put your pecking order for linebackers.
Well, let's just wait, which is actually working out for us because of the depth I think that we have at cornerback.
Oh, totally. The Cowboys will play their most played defense will be with 3 corners out on the field. They'll play more plays with 3 corners on the field than 3 linebackers by the end of the season.
So our starting front, we have to address right defensive tackle because Neville Gallimore currently is there. That's
okay. Yep.
Would it be more Jonathan Hankins than more than likely?
Just a correction too. Will McClay said Overshown is a will linebacker.
And the will will be on when you got your 3 CBs going.
Yep.
Okay. Well, either way, he's going to be one of those 3 linebackers.
I mean, possibly.
So do we shift? Do we swap Overshown and Clark?
Let's just start at our defensive line. I think that's a good way how you want to do it. Let's start at defensive line and work our way up.
Yeah. Chase Johnson, voice of the Brandon Wheat Kings, is saying Overshown can move all over the field. Now, Chase Johnson's also a heavy Colts fan, so the fact that he's in here and he's commenting on Overshown is big ups.
We love it.
Hey,
we love it.
Perhaps, and I just want to float this idea, and I don't need a reply. This is more of a comment than a question. Perhaps the Can fans influencing his desire to learn more about the Cowboys.
Well,
there it is.
Hey, we'll see it. We'll see you on this side in 2 years.
Chase Johnson, voice of the Brandon Wheat Kings, is saying he wanted him in Indy. So
okay. Well,
I thought it said he wanted him in him.
Yeah. Possibly. I mean, do we all want Overshown in us?
I want a little bit of Overshown.
Okay, so left defensive end, that's pretty much locked down. DeMarcus Lawrence.
Sam Williams.
The inside, the defense gets hard to judge when you have Mazzie Smith, Osa Odigizua, Neville Gallimore, Jonathan Hankins. Like, it gets messy. And then you also have chat saying we're missing Golston. So
we're missing not so bland.
Well, that's because we don't have the
Deron Bland's right here.
Where? Oh, there he is. Okay.
So let's focus on defensive tackles first before we worry about anything else.
Guys, holy shit.
Guys, we are trying to shape the Cowboys for the next season. Get your shit together. Who did I miss? Sorry?
Chauncey Golston.
You know our boy Chauncey.
I don't know how to spell that.
There's an E before the Y.
There's no H.
The main thing with defensive line, and AJ, you kind of touched on it earlier in the podcast, saying there might be a big rotation. So it's kind of like these tackles in certain situations are obviously going to be better off, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of movement going on that defensive line throughout a game.
Yeah. Well, you look at that depth; it's the most deep. We've brought Micah Parsons into the mix, so that like pretty much the left DE and the right DE are like solid for 90% of the plays. That's who's going to be in. So it's really this LDT and right DT position that's like, who can be there? Well, you just spent a first-round pick on Mazzie Smith, so let's assume he's going to be who they want to be there, and we all hope he's the fucking guy too. So now you've got Neville Gallimore, Hankins, Osa, Golston, and potentially even Junior Fiocco or Viliami, who I believe there was a rumor that he might be moving inside as well.
Yeah.
Which makes sense too if Micah comes up there. So a lot. I don't even really. I would say the only one who I want to switch out on the line right now is the RDT, Neville Gallimore. He's probably not going to be the starter, right?
I don't think he's starting. I don't think Neville Gallimore's going to start. He'll have to have a crazy training camp. I honestly, if I had to pick,
you got to cut one maybe. We got to cut one of these guys perhaps.
I would rather say we're in a base defense here. I want to see Mozzie Smith and Jonathan Hankins when you're expecting them to their chance of running. I don't care about one tech, 3 tech, 11, 12, 14, 17, 18 tech. These are the 2 biggest guys. If you're expecting them to run on you on first down, I want Jonathan Hankins and Mozzie Smith out there.
And Micah and D-Law.
That line is looking juicy.
Stack the house.
And this is another thing that it allows you, and it allows Dan Quinn to possibly have Osa on that line. And maybe you do like an 86 Bears or something, and you do 3 defensive tackles on the field for first down. There's so many options, right?
Totally.
I don't mind us having a struggle to see who's starting, because that, again, we go back to what Alex is talking about, that hockey style of rotating players every 30 seconds and shift change. That shift change, I mean, it's not a bad thing to either scheme out your opponent's offense, and then just making sure that if you're gut checking what they're about to do, whether it's a run or a pass play, you're putting the players who need to be there based on their strengths.
Yeah.
And let's just consider the offensive lines that we're going to be going up against in Philadelphia, or against Philadelphia, against the San Francisco 49ers and the improved Giants. Did they pick up an O-lineman? Yeah, they got Osiris. No, that was Bills. Sorry. But we look at that, and the rotation might be there, or this depth here. And I think we're going to see some cuts to that. They're just going to have to free up some positions for the 53-man roster. But I like that rotation against those teams. I'm just thinking that's what the
the defensive line looks fucking stacked.
Exactly. Like that is like when Dan Quinn.
Look at it. Look at it.
Would you
just look at it?
Yeah.
Just look at it. Just look at it. Just look at it.
Come on, get it.
Linebacker though.
Oh, would you look at that? Oh, would you look at that?
When Dan Quinn is the best thing you can have for the defensive coordinator is to not have to worry about who you're swapping in and out, who's gas. Like, great, Mozzie Smith's gas, Osa Odigizua is going to go in. Like, it's still not bad, because we saw Odigizua handle the line last season, and we thought we had a top defense. So the fact that our depth is kind of starting to build up this season definitely reassures us that if someone goes down, someone's gassed out, someone gets injured, we have the players to kind of rotate through it.
Yeah. So going to the second level here.
Yep.
I think cornerback, another spot I feel pretty comfortable in with our depth. Obviously, we don't have it set with the slot corner here, but you got guys like Stephon Gilmore, Trevon Diggs, Jordan Lewis, Deron Not So Bland, and Nashawn Wright. Obviously, Kelvin Bossman Fat is still there too. But I think our depth at corner and how you have it set up here, AJ.
Is he actually going to be there based on what you just said?
I'll add him.
He might be. I mean, corner's another spot that you're going to take a lot of guys, right? Or he ends up falling on the practice squad,
right?
So I don't hate how we have the corner position here right now. Obviously, the slot corner is probably going to go Jordan Lewis and then Deron Bland. So your nickel packages are going to be Stephon Gilmore as your outside left cornerback, Trevon Diggs is your right outside cornerback. Then you're going to have Jordan Lewis as your slot corner. And then on dime packages, you're going to have Deron Bland come in. So that, to me, those 4 dudes, I'm super I feel pretty confident with that core of guys, especially when you have our defensive line that's going to be wreaking havoc on quarterbacks, and then you have those on quarterbacks, and then you have our 4 corners dropping back. I really like that aspect of it. What makes me nervous is I still think we're lacking that true middle linebacker minus Leighton Vander Esch. Like, I kind of wish there was one guy behind LVE. Like, if we would have got Drew Sanders in the second or something, like traded up and got Drew Sanders in the second, that would have been amazing. So I am a little bit worried that we could get into a situation where there's a couple injuries at linebacker and we start getting a little bit thin.
That's true.
So let's say DeMarvion Overshone doesn't necessarily start. He's more of a special team player, which a couple of the guys in chat were talking about. EJ Savage and Chase Johnson were both talking about him being a special team player. So let's say Overshone, we get injuries. Overshone now comes up and he starts playing a more prominent role at linebacker. Even though Micah Parsons is permanent DE, you still have the opportunity to shift him.
Yep,
specifically in this type of year. So like, it's not as though we're like totally moving out of it, right?
True. I kind of took, no, that's a good call. You're right. Micah could fall back and could play linebacker.
So let's pop
if needed.
Let's look at it this way too. Okay, so now Dorrance Armstrong is your starting RD with Dante Fowler backing him up. Still pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
that's still pretty confident in that.
So I would rather have Micah drop back into a linebacker role for one play versus him playing like an even amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but would you rather Micah get 25 sacks or 14?
Oh, 25 sacks all day long.
So I mean, so you're never gonna know his potential until it's like, okay, we're gonna put him at
make him permanent. Don't make him a jack of all trades. Make him a specialist.
TJ Watt and Nick Bosa aren't dropping back to play linebacker very much. Those guys, all they do is go after the quarterback. Do you want the reigning defensive player of the year, or do you want a guy that's going to go play linebacker?
You're absolutely right. I want, like, we know that, of course, I think the whole world knows that Micah Parsons, when he's on the field, everybody's like, what the F do I do with this guy? Like, you're going to get in quarterbacks' heads the same way that TJ Watt and Nick Bosa do to the quarterbacks. So yes, of course, get him permanently on the line. Let him fucking eat.
Let him eat. He's a lion.
Here's an interesting take before we continue talking. Boots on the Ground is saying Marcus Bell and Bohanna get cut. Chauncey Armstrong both get traded to help for offense.
Oh yeah, we kind of forgot about Marquez Bell. So he was a big training camp preseason safety that we loved.
So he's a
safety.
He's a safety, and we got deep safeties, and I think Israel.
Deep safeties.
Yeah, because just looking at our chart here, we got Wilson, Hooker, and Marquise Bell on.
Man, this defense looks mean.
Yeah,
it's a good looking defense.
Yeah. This defense looks like, even like the questions we have. This defense. I'm excited for this defense. I feel like this is the chance. Remember how the defense started off the first 5-6 games?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, the Cowboys have never had a defense this good. This is so exciting. This is awesome. And then they kind of petered off a little bit, going one stack got back.
Yeah, it was
but
weird.
I feel like they've picked up a couple key spots here that this defense could be ready for a full 17 games.
But did they really peter off? I know we felt it like that in the moment.
Sack numbers dropped, rushing against went up, passing points, everything.
We got hit by injuries at the same
time. They got
hit. We never had a fucking blowout game. Like, we never had a 43-0. We never had a 50 burger.
There were some very big bends.
What's the most points? What was our most points scored on in the last 2 years?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
But just while I'm looking this up, what do you guys? Doesn't the visual? I know it's kind of toot my.
No, I like it.
But the visualization, doesn't it help put into play a little bit more of like how things are going to look on the field?
No, I like it. Looking at this, at the depth chart that you have here, I'm very confident. If this was our week 1 team, I think they're going to fuck people up, to be honest. Like, that's a very, very good defense. Usually,
Kilo C just said it, and I don't know if it's true. He just said, we signed Fournette? ? and then Sports Illustrated.
That's
is
11
saying,
hours ago.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just trying to see that. So Cowboys signing Leonard Fournette as a best fit replacement for Zeke.
So we're just getting all the old Bucks.
Which
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I honestly wouldn't hate Leonard Fournette. I mean, he only had his only 100-yard game last year was against the Cowboys, but Zeke didn't rush for 100 yards.
Yep.
And Fournette was kind of that. I would feel more confident with Fournette as the goal line guy or the short yardage guy.
Oh, for
than
sure.
What we got.
Yeah. Everything I said about my boy Lepke, he can be our secondary. I mean, Fournette would be that tough. But again, he has injuries and everything. It's not signed, it's not confirmed, but there is talks as he's getting released. Everybody, as we said before, whenever anybody has some sort of trade talk going on, Cowboys are always a landing place, regardless.
Always linked. Always linked.
So
I like this initial depth chart that we have here. I think this is a good spot. I think we have it. This is pretty good for our first draft of our depth chart.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens over the next couple months, I guess, leading into how far away are we from OTAs? I guess it's fucking a month
And a bit. A month to OTAs, like 2.5 months. What is it, May? So May, June. Yeah, 2.5 months to training camp, 4 months to season. Like we're getting there. We are getting there.
What's the score thought there, AJ? What's our biggest
Well, I just look at
against?
last year and the Jags scored 40 on us, and then so that was not good.
The OT.
If you remember that one.
And you know what? That was right before going into the playoffs. So
playoffs.
And then you had the Eagles put up a bunch on Christmas
34.
Eve.
Yep.
So like I'm talking about the defense definitely petered off. You want to win a Super Bowl, we got to be holding teams to 20 the whole year.
Yeah, and then the Commanders scored 26 on us,
which is garbage.
Yeah.
With Sam Howell, his first ever career start.
Yeah.
Can't happen.
All right, well, biggest red flags, middle linebacker, and left guard and running back. The same red flags we kind of came into the draft with.
Going into the draft with. But who are we to say it? Obviously, the Cowboys have a plan. Maybe those aren't red flags. They're just red flags to the fans.
It's one of those scenarios where you look at Super Bowl winning teams a la the Patriots, where it's not one player. I mean, obviously Tom Brady made a big difference, but you're drafting players who can fit a certain system, and I definitely get that vibe right now with the Cowboys. Not that they're technically taking a page out of the Patriots, but the fact that they're placing players based on the system that they're feeling confident in. You can't argue with that.
Crack them if you got them, son.
That silent crack is just
Silent
scary.
crack. But it's the draft history of the Cowboys too that can make you feel a little bit more secure in the picks that they make. Ultimately, the Mozzie Smith pick is huge. I actually think Junior Fiocco could be a really big pick. If he is who I think he is, and he's got that Samoan bloodline, so I really think that he's got the strength within him to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Big boys.
Yep. A question in the chat from our boy EJ Will McClay Savage. Are y'all still going to training camp? Yes. The plan is that we're still going to be
When
in
is that?
Oxnard.
It's in August.
August. Yeah.
I'm going. So I don't know. Like I am going. I've already planned to take time off. I'm 100% going to go. I've always wanted to go to I've always wanted to go to training camp.
Look, we have the training
Oxnard.
We have the training camp bucket hats.
We got boots on the ground's going to be there. Like I feel like we have to. I'd rather do that than the draft. It's not going to be expensive to do.
No.
We're going to get great content out of it. We're going to meet a lot of other content creators.
Yep.
I think it would be stupid to not, even if we went for 2 days, like even if we just flew down to Oxnard, which isn't a big flight, it's to LAX, and then it's an hour away from LAX.
Yeah.
Like it's a very easy for us being on the West Coast.
It's an hour away. I might as well just drive.
Probably the same distance as LA traffic. But hey, so we will be back on the Sunday service. We'll be back, sometimes between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. on Sunday. Bandwagon boys, I think we're feeling pretty good. Obviously, there's a few things we'd like to shore up, but after post-draft, I think we're feeling good. You guys feeling good about it?
I'm feeling good. I like what I see.
I like
All
my
right,
boy,
man.
I like my boy Lepke.
I know you do. So for the Bandwagon boys over there and Anthbest over here, look at these gin fucks, eh? Okay, we out.
Straight gin.